Reviving Phoenix. Phoenix Industrial Technologies, a B2B enterprise, was diverse but lacked coordination. Initially, the hands-off management approach seemed effective, but Phoenix soon experienced declining sales, profits, and morale. The company lacked direction and appropriate tools. Aggressive action was needed, and Bill Canady was appointed as the new CEO. Canady had developed his profitable growth operating system PGOS from leading several companies. Relentless cuts without a strategy at Phoenix had pushed it to a breaking point. The crisis provided an opportunity to apply the 80-20 principle and other processes to fix the company and realize growth. Before analyzing a business, it's necessary to ask straightforward questions about its past, present, and future. Phoenix was being run with systems designed for a smaller company, causing chaos. Admiral Jim Stockdale's experience as a prisoner of war during the Vietnam War shows the importance of confronting brutal facts while maintaining confidence in ultimate success, known as the Stockdale paradox. Process and discipline are crucial for success in challenging business situations. Phoenix had no growth before 2016, and every acquisition performed worse than the last one. The pandemic exacerbated the situation, leading to facility shutdowns and layoffs. Strategic cuts can be life-saving, but non-strategic cuts are a red flag. When Canady was appointed CEO in 2021, his immediate goal was to understand the business, identify problems, and modify the strategy. He took a tour where he talked to everyone and asked questions to get to know employees. Meetings with managers focused on business performance, team engagement, customer feedback, partnerships, processes, and career development, balancing creativity and logic. Understanding a business allows for its analysis. A CEO can start by comparing past and present performance and focusing on future goals. A business needs targets. Without them, success or failure cannot be measured. Getting to success involves understanding purpose, guiding intentions, and building a strategy that includes execution. Failed execution means a failed strategy. Success must be visualized and quantified. Success involves more than financial goals and good accounting. Visionary companies are admired and impactful because they visualize success and show others their role in it. Inspiring leaders present a clear vision of success, showing team members their roles. This clarity is essential for effective strategy execution. Without it, employees work aimlessly. Defining success requires articulating purpose, strategy, and execution clearly. Everyone in the company must understand and buy into the mission, vision, and values. But an even more fundamental element is necessary for success: thought itself. Psychologists distinguish between divergent creative and convergent logical thinking. Divergent thinking generates multiple ideas, while convergent thinking narrows them down. Successful businesses combine both approaches. Steve Jobs and Stephen Gary Wozniak of Apple exemplified this balance, with Jobs as the divergent thinker and Wozniak as the convergent thinker. Divergent thinking imagines possibilities, asking, "What if?" Convergent thinking narrows down options based on data and logic. Mixing both approaches simultaneously can cancel each other out. Instead, use them sequentially for optimal results. Divergent thinking explores broad ideas, while convergent thinking refines them into actionable plans. This process ensures that business decisions benefit from both creativity and logic. Meetings often lead to convergent thinking, where attendees analyze and criticize. Instead of fighting this, use the right gathering for the right purpose. For planning, start with data gathering and business analysis, which is convergent thinking. When it's time to innovate, hold brainstorming sessions to encourage divergent thinking. Encourage out-of-the-box ideas, inclusion and quantity, and discourage censorship. When brainstorming, encourage speed, surprise, and playfulness. Gather as many responses as possible. Divergent thinking aims to find ways to serve current customers better, sell new products, and adapt to changing customer needs. It involves imagining future portfolios, expanding markets, and gaining a competitive advantage. The focus is on more options, possibilities, and opportunities. Once ideas are gathered, shift to convergent thinking to narrow down and focus on what is executable. Meetings become slower and more deliberate, focusing on analysis and creating solutions. Divergent thinking generates ideas. Convergent thinking develops and delivers them. Setting a goal. In business, we must do important things and avoid unimportant ones. The 80-20th rule states that 80% of results come from 20% of actions. Apply this to identify the most productive 20% of customers, markets, products, and processes. Segment customers and products into quadrants. Focus on the top quadrant, which generates the most revenue and profit. Eliminate unproductive products and customers to focus on the most important ones. Unprofitable products and customers drain resources from the top quadrant, ones responsible for most of the success. When Franklin D. Roosevelt took office on March 4, 1933, during the Great Depression, he revived the phrase, the 100 Days, originally from Napoleon's return from exile in 1815. Napoleon conducted an impressive military campaign to reclaim his conquest in the first 100 days after his return. Similarly, Roosevelt summoned Congress for a special session, passing 77 laws in 100 days to address the economic crisis. This period set a benchmark for future presidents. Roosevelt's approach inspired a similar strategy from Canady when he took over as CEO of Phoenix and later Rolling Thunder Engineered Parts. Rolling Thunder, a large distributor of aftermarket vehicle parts, had expanded without a coherent strategy and needed urgent intervention. Canady's first 100 days were crucial for setting a turnaround plan. The goal was to reach $2.3 billion in revenue with 19% margins and $300 million in EBITDA earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization within 5 years. The initial step was to simplify the business, focusing on the 20% of activities that generated 80% of revenue. A strategy meeting was scheduled within 30 days to identify the core areas for growth. The team collected data to determine where to simplify and grow, focusing on profitable customers and products. Communication was key, with regular town hall meetings to update the organization and gather feedback. By the end of the first 100 days, the company had a clear goal, a new strategy, and designated owners for various tasks. Reorganizing the company was necessary to align with the new strategy, focusing on structure rather than individual roles. The aim was to create segments that directed resources to the most profitable areas. The first 100 days set the stage for a longer-term plan. Year 1 focuses on simplifying the business, Year 2 on growing profitably, Year 3 on doubling down on successful strategies, Year 4 on fine-tuning processes, and Year 5 on achieving sustained growth. Communication remains at the heart of the process, with regular updates and feedback sessions. The goal is to set a target, provide direction, and replace panic with hope. Rolling Thunder was suffering from declining financial results and numerous projects without strategic consideration of return on investment. There was a lack of strategy and awareness, leading to confusion and despair. A core meeting with upper management set a goal to reverse the company's decline. This goal provided numbers to aim for within 5 years. A company-wide town hall meeting was held to communicate the status and the goal. Immediate cost-cutting and revenue-generating initiatives were necessary to steady the company. A questionnaire was circulated to gather employee insights, which were discussed in the town hall. Questions covered past performance, goals, benchmarks, and the effectiveness of change initiatives. Understanding the company's culture and its impact on performance was essential. Creating a strategy. Providing direction with actionable steps is vital for a company. Canady's system is based on 4 steps: setting a goal, creating a strategy, building the structure, and executing the plan. This system helps turn a company around and positions it for profitable growth. After setting a goal, create a strategic framework based on data and insights. This framework guides the company's objectives and initiatives. The 80-20th framework helps allocate resources strategically, focusing on the most profitable customers and products. Segmentation of customers and products into quadrants helps optimize profit margins and allocate resources effectively. Together, class of goods and clients, or 80s, account for 80% of all revenues. The remainder are Bs or 20s. Quadrant 1 includes a customer's buying of products. These should receive prime resource allocation. Quadrant 2 is a customer's buying B products. Serve them just enough to retain them. Quadrant 3 is B customers buying up products. Handle these sales with minimal resources. Quadrant 4 is B customers buying B products. For this group, increase prices, reduce resources, and restrict sales. If products aren't profitable, eliminate them. Handling Quadrant 4 can make some managers feel guilty, thinking it's unfair to treat different customers differently. However, A customers are different from B customers. Treating them equally would be unfair to the best customers and the company. Analyze the portfolio of the business as a segmented profit and loss P&L statement after splitting customers and products into quadrants. For example, the analysis might show Quadrant 1, 64% of total revenue, 200% of total profit. Quadrant 2, 16% of total revenue, break-even profit. Quadrant 3, 16% of total revenue, 20% of total profit. Quadrant 4, 4% of total revenue, a 120% loss. Quadrants 1 and 3 produce 220% of the company's profit, while Quadrant 4 causes a negative profit of minus 120%. A deeper analysis should sort product categories into each quadrant to assess the company's portfolio critically. This helps decide which products to keep for an optimal portfolio. The executive team may not complete the analysis in the first 100 days, but should gather enough data to make good decisions. Implementing this strategy will produce measurable results to guide future actions. Simplification and focused sales growth are key, allocating 80% of resources to Quadrant 1. Resources from Quadrant 4 should be redirected to Quadrant 1. The 80-20 principle helps identify the most promising product and customer segments. Winning early builds momentum and confidence. The 80-20 framework should end with a clear summary of where and how the organization will compete and win. The first 100 days aim for progress, not perfection. Building the structure and launching the action plan. The business plan's third step, building the structure, describes how to use the 80-20 analysis to turn strategy into an action plan. After the first 100 days, initiate the action plan to start implementing the strategy. Draft a high-level action plan that outlines the main steps to achieve the objective. Break down high-level elements into specific tasks, thinking in terms of actions. Review the company goals and objectives, keeping in mind that goals are intended outcomes and objectives are benchmarks. Define action steps projects to achieve each goal, identifying and prioritizing necessary action items. Assign roles and duties, making sure that each person is aware of their responsibilities. Allocate resources, including management personnel, funding, and equipment. Apply the SMART standard to objectives, ensuring they are specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time-related. Allot time for each project, breaking down action steps into action items with deadlines. Execute the plan, evaluate the results, and determine the next steps for continuous improvement. The first 100 days revolve around setting a goal and creating a strategy to reach it. After that, the strategy is expanded annually, focusing on profitable growth and competitive advantage. Profitable expansion is guided by a long-term plan that adds value above the expectations of the community, vendors, staff, customers, shareholders, and even competitors. A competent strategy involves 4 critical choices: where to compete, how to compete, actions to execute the strategy, and resource allocation. This strategy is a 5-year plan, amended annually, and shared by the leadership team. It is a collaborative product that represents the senior view of how the company will grow and win in the market. Crafting a long-term strategy. Long-term strategy builds upon a situation assessment, a strategic framework, and a business plan. In the 3 to 5 year strategy, a feedback loop and enterprise risk deployment become more important. These elements are crucial because they operate over time, producing measurable outcomes. Key performance indicators (KPIs) are tracked to ensure the strategy is producing desired results. Measuring should be done to improve or manage, not just report. Risk management starts in the first 100 days and continues as an ongoing function during the long-term strategy. Advanced Enterprise Risk Management identifies potential risks and opportunities, informing additional planning. Strategic thinking requires identifying all relevant issues, problems, solutions, and opportunities divergent thinking, and then coming to definite conclusions convergent thinking. This discipline ensures truly strategic decisions. The strategic process spans a full calendar year, with revisions made annually. The situation assessment asks questions in 5 categories: business analysis, customers, portfolio, markets, and competitors. The first 6 months are allotted for this assessment, with a year-end summary created for the executive management team. The strategic framework takes insights from the situation assessment to generate key strategic goals and initiatives. This phase typically spans 2 months and includes divergent and convergent thinking to identify and prioritize opportunities and initiatives. The action plan is guided by the strategic framework in the business plan. It includes detailed financials and answers 4 major questions: budget, action plan, risks, and organizational measures. The business plan puts the strategic framework into action, starting with divergent thinking and then prioritizing actions. Simplification is a powerful tool. Reducing complexity may involve cutting down products or customer types. The 80-20 rule shows that products and customers generate 80% of both revenue and profits. Allocate 80% of resources to this segment. Reduce product offerings and variations. Focus on the items that most customers want. Simplify by cutting non-strategic B products. Other strategies include setting minimum order values, not offering discounts for B customers, and not paying sales commissions on B customer business. Segmenting the business itself can also be effective. Separate dissimilar operations to focus resources better. For example, a company selling large machinery and parts might benefit from different marketing, sales, distribution, and service approaches. Perform separate segmentation for each business type to create well-defined P&Ls. Zeroing up. Zero up by strategically selling to and serving customers, curating products and services they want. Identify top performers and match them to roles serving these customers. Scale down the business to focus on customers and then plan to acquire more customers to transform the company into a Quadrant 1 business. Reallocate resources from underperforming employees and customers to top performers and customers. This improves service to the best customers and attracts more of them. You may even need to eliminate underperforming employees and customers. Zeroing up is the next step after focusing and segmenting. Its goal is to re-establish the business with the resources needed to serve the top 20% of customers optimally. This involves reducing resources spent on less profitable products and customers, especially those in Quadrant 4. Disproportionate allocation of resources to less profitable customers and products is destructive. It dilutes the ability to serve high-performing customers, leading to their loss. Even when a company needs a fresh start, scrapping everything and starting over is not feasible. Rather, choose a company segment and begin from scratch with it. Only construct what is required to sustain the small number of clients and goods it offers. This reveals hidden costs and areas where costs can be reduced. Zeroing up is similar to zero-based budgeting in household finances. Start with zero and add up the costs needed for a specific segment. Compare this total to the income for that segment and adjust spending or income accordingly. This method can be applied to business segments to build a budget and allocate resources from zero. There are several methods for zeroing up, including by quad or product customer inflection point. The quad zero-up method involves focusing on Quadrant 1. Imagine your company and P&L as if Quadrant 1 were the entire business. Determine the minimum cost needed to support this business. Repeat this process for Quadrants 2 and 3. This exercise shows that Quadrant 1 can function at its best with fewer resources and personnel than the other quadrants. The product customer inflection point zero-up method involves identifying the point where adding more customers lowers overall profitability. This helps determine which customers are profitable and which are not. A lean culture. Lean thinking aims to improve business performance by eliminating waste. It involves standardized work, visual management, and a plan, do, check, act framework. Lean thinking focuses on value streams, flow, pull, and perfection. It creates a lean culture that aligns customer satisfaction with employee satisfaction, leading to innovative products and services with lower costs. MIT's International Motor Vehicle Program studied how Toyota rose from bankruptcy to industry dominance by the 1970s. The key insight was Toyota's use of master teachers and trainers to help managers think lean and focus on their jobs. Managers were encouraged to observe the shop floor closely, which had multiple benefits. Understanding work processes, showing respect to workers, asking questions, and allowing workers to share ideas. This approach fostered independence and initiative among employees. Managers then applied 5 principles to improve their plants. First, value must be defined through customers' eyes, ensuring quality at every step. Second, value streams should flow continuously, matching production pace with demand. Third, flow should be optimized to meet current demand, reducing the need for warehouses and transportation costs. Fourth, production should be driven by customer demand pull rather than pushing products, using Kanban visual cards to track production. Finally, perfection is pursued through Kaizen continuous improvement, with small, incremental changes from everyone. Lean thinking allowed Toyota to use half the human effort, space, investment, and time compared to the rest of the industry while doubling quality. Training follows the 70-20-10 model, where 70% of learning comes from job experiences, 20% from social interactions, and 10% from formal education. Standardized work captures the best methods for operations, supporting continuous improvement. Visual management tools like Kanban boards help teams see the current situation and respond quickly to deviations. Project-based improvement uses the PDCA plan, do, check, act cycle to make incremental progress. Plan by establishing objectives and the processes required to achieve them. Implement the objectives, collect data, and note the results. Evaluate the results based on the collected data and decide which changes work best. Improve the process based on the findings. The goal is to refine processes, create better instructions, standards, and goals, and provide a baseline for the next PDCA cycle. The team. Hiring the best people helps maintain excellence, as they will likely hire top talent in turn. Settling for second best leads to decline. Strategic thinking involves aligning hires with business needs and future vision. For instance, hiring someone overqualified or too expensive isn't always practical. Hiring should be strategic, not just about finding the best person. Many HR professionals use the DISC tool to sort people into 4 behavioral styles. Dominance is associated with leadership. Influence involves contacting people, verbalizing, generating enthusiasm, and participating in a group. Supportiveness is associated with performing consistently and helping others, and conscientiousness is characterized by paying close attention to standards and striving for accuracy. Each style is valuable in different roles. Recruiting and developing talent involves aligning expertise, experience, and behavioral styles with key roles. The talent acquisition process has 5 phases: defining the need, sourcing talent, selecting candidates, making offers, and onboarding. The goal is to align business needs with the right talent. This process should be systematic and standardized across the enterprise. Talent assessment and development start after onboarding and are formalized in annual reviews. These reviews evaluate capabilities, identify areas for improvement, and create development plans. The process includes setting performance objectives, providing feedback, and assessing results. Documentation ensures clarity and objectivity. Setting expectations, checking in, and providing feedback throughout the year are crucial. At year-end, performance is assessed and future objectives are discussed. Compensation motivates employees. Base pay should be competitive and benefits should be valuable. Bonuses and incentives should be tied to performance measures. Compensation plans should be fair, competitive, and transparent, rewarding performance and aligning management's interests with those of shareholders. An effective reward system should never appear arbitrary or inconsistent. Standardized bonus evaluations based on performance, results, and contributions. Mergers and acquisitions. There's a common belief that companies growing organically are more authentic than those using mergers and acquisitions M&A. While many M&As are poorly executed, they can be successful if integrated with company strategy and executed rationally. M&A has 8 key areas: acquisition strategy development, deal sourcing, evaluation, due diligence, negotiation, documenting and closing, integration, and transaction measurement. M&A must align with the overall 80/20 business strategy. The acquisition strategy should identify targets that create value within the company's framework. The strategy should outline the qualities of desirable acquisition prospects. A clear process benefits acquisition. Start with long-term goals for revenue and EBITDA. Determine the go-get, the gap between goals and forecast, to decide acquisition size. Identify attractive candidates based on end markets, strategic and cultural fit, operational characteristics, and financial attributes. Sourcing involves developing channels for potential deals and maintaining a pipeline of targets. Build relationships with investment banks and private equity funds. Managers should identify opportunities through business knowledge and relationships. Sourcing aims to create an active pipeline of attractive targets. Evaluation begins when a viable prospect is sourced. A corporate development group assesses the target as an investment opportunity. In an auction flow, a concise PowerPoint presentation provides initial information. If it is attractive, sign an NDA, review confidential information, and conduct preliminary due diligence. Due diligence verifies the target's claims and deepens understanding. It looks for financial, legal, and regulatory exposures. It confirms the seller's claims and reevaluates assumptions. The due diligence team coordinates with managers and consultants. Negotiation follows due diligence. The goal is to obtain good terms and pricing. The draft purchase agreement is reviewed and negotiated. Integration begins after the deal is closed. Key steps include developing a workforce integration plan, comparing benefits and compensation, assigning leadership, resolving duplicate functions, and establishing clear communication. Transaction measurement spans the first 5 years following the acquisition. Early data analysis will show whether the acquisition is behind, exceeding, or meeting expectations. If the preliminary results are unsatisfactory, decide on a course of action. Some companies need to change their basic identity. Western Union, which began operating telegraphs in 1851, came to represent American telegraphy. However, as telegrams became obsolete, Western Union shifted to wire transfers, money orders, and bill payments. This change was crucial for its survival. Such a drastic identity change is not advisable for most businesses unless their industry has changed so much that their core business is no longer profitable. Most successful businesses build their market power on a well-defined core business, which gives them a competitive advantage. And as that deviate from the core business often dilute the company's strengths. Each potential acquisition should be examined through the 80/20 lens, ensuring it enhances the vital 20% of the business that drives profitability. Listening to the voice of the customer is crucial before making any acquisition decisions. Managing risk. It's traditional to delegate risk management to business unit leaders. For example, the Chief Technology Officer manages IT-related risks, while the Chief Financial Officer handles cash flow risks. This strategy may result in organizational silos, inefficiencies, and hazards that are not identified. Risks that affect multiple silos may go unnoticed until they cause a crisis. The traditional approach also tends to focus on internal operations, often overlooking external risks like competition and technological innovation. Effective risk management should be integrated into strategic planning. Enterprise risk management takes a holistic view of risks that threaten objectives. By lowering the likelihood that risks may sabotage strategic goals, proactive risk management helps organizations gain a competitive edge. Is an ongoing process that continuously identifies, assesses, and responds to emerging risks. One tool used to record and monitor risks throughout the company is a risk register. It contains details about the risk's characteristics, possible consequences, and mitigating actions. Regular reviews of the risk register are necessary to make needed modifications to the strategy and operational procedures. Focuses on the top risks to the organization, prioritizing mitigations. Measuring success. Measurements are crucial for judging efficiency, value, and success. Measurements should flow from strategy, focusing on elements that can be improved. KPIs are key indicators of progress towards strategic goals. They highlight actions, processes, and assets that can improve operations. By focusing on the right KPIs, decisions can be made about the 20% of activities that generate 80% of revenue. KPIs provide measurable performance targets for teams, departments, or companies to achieve within a set time, often a quarter. KPIs are smart targets that can change the trajectory of a business. They act as predictors of future success. Good KPIs provide quantitative evidence of progress, inform decision-making, offer comparisons over time, and track efficiency, quality, and resource utilization. Consider the example of a specialty coffee shop. The management would evaluate KPIs of inputs, outputs, processes, outcomes, and project measures. Inputs would include coffee, water, and staff time. Brewed coffee would be an output. Processes would include equipment and procedures. Outcomes would be sales and customer loyalty, and project measures would focus on improvement campaigns, including marketing. Inputs, outputs, and processes are operational measures that focus on daily tactics, while outcomes are strategic measurements. A company needs to combine both kinds of measurement for the best results. The company also needs project measures to determine the success of each step taken, risk measures to evaluate potential threats, and employee measures to track performance and skills. KPIs are applied to the key process of gap analysis, which compares potential and actual performance. The company identifies the current state, desired future state, and the gaps between them. The next steps include evaluating solutions, executing changes, and measuring the impact. Market gap analysis identifies unmet customer needs. Strategic gap analysis reviews performance over time. Financial profit gap analysis compares financial metrics with competitors. Skill gap analysis addresses knowledge deficiencies among personnel. Compliance gap analysis assesses regulatory efficiency. Product development gap analysis evaluates new product fit. Any kind of gap analysis also includes a break-even calculation to measure projected revenues versus expenses. Quality control. President Harry S. Truman's decision-making process included gathering information, consulting his moral compass, listening to diverse opinions, following through, and being willing to change based on results. This approach is essential for effective leadership and business success. PDCA is a cycle for quality control. Start by understanding the problem. Identify potential causes using divergent thinking, then narrow them down with convergent thinking. Develop countermeasures and create a detailed action plan. Execute the plan, collect data, and evaluate the results. Determine the next steps required for continuous improvement and act upon them. Toyota's A3 process, named after the 11 by 17-inch size of the paper used to document ideas and plans, involves identifying problems, documenting processes, quantifying issues, and defining the root cause behind the issues. Formulate countermeasures, define target states, and develop an implementation plan. Once changes are implemented, evaluate the results. If they differ from expectations, investigate why and make further adjustments. Continuous improvement requires strategic focus and the PDCA cycle. This process drives profitable growth and strategic success. Leadership. A PGOS business needs three essential leaders: a visionary, a prophet, and an operator. The visionary is the ultimate decision maker, often the CEO, with absolute authority. They make firm decisions but are open to modification for continuous improvement. They lead planning for the future with imagination and wisdom. The prophet, often the coup, interprets the vision and implements it throughout the organization. They train, coach, and mentor others to execute the strategy. Without a prophet, key personnel may deviate from the strategy. The operators, typically presidents or segment leaders, run the business day to day. They implement the strategy set by the visionary and facilitated by the prophet, ensuring alignment with the company's goals. The visionary sets the direction, the prophet interprets and implements it, and the operators execute it to achieve the company's goals. Applying this at Phoenix, Canady helped grow sales from $700 million to more than $1 billion and profits from $70 million to $175 million in 863 days, a 150% growth in EBITDA. This success highlights the importance of the complete triumvirate: visionary, prophet, and operator working together. PGOS is a proven system that creates value for stakeholders by identifying challenges and implementing clear, actionable plans for increased productivity and profits. With visionary, prophet, and operator working together, PGOS helps businesses make better decisions at every level.